So whenever you want to start talking.
Oh, you want me to make All right, guys. 2 or 3 minutes. We're gonna get cracking.
So deletion? Are you good?
Yes.
Are you good?
John,
These are for the actors.
All right. I have it.
Gene, it's you.
Do you want me to go?
Whenever, well, as soon as Anna says we're good.
All right.
Everyone's getting really quiet now. You'll be anticipation.
All right. Something is weird.
What?
Sorry, excuse me. There we go.
I'm ready. I think she's freaking out about the Ustream, but if we don't have it, we
there's
can
someone
just go.
else on the camera now touching it, so she probably got someone on it.
Okay. I'm hoping so.
I'll give her. I'll double check and.
Okay, good. Thanks, Miranda. And now everyone knows.
How are we live streaming the clips?
Huh?
How are we live streaming?
I'm just gonna put it on there.
Okay.
Yeah. But when we cut the thing, if you want to cut together, you can just cut it.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. Welcome to the Purplelist event.
Yay!
I just have some quick words about it. This is the 4th year of the Purplelist. It was founded by Ash Bala and Shandor Garrison in 2012. The idea grew out of an assignment in Robert Warren's 3rd year class and was inspired by The Blacklist, which was created by Franklin Leonard, who is here tonight.
Yay!
I'm very psyched about that. In the first 3 years, there have been 16 projects on the list. 8 have been produced, and another will shoot this summer. 3 premiered at Sundance. Others have played at Tribeca, Slam Dance, Cannes, and on and on. Just this week, Pam Romanowski's Adderall Diaries was picked up by A24 after premiering last week at Tribeca.
Yay!
Just some quick thanks. I want to thank Ashley Michael Hoban, who runs the Purple List event, but she's actually in Budapest working on Marco Polo, the Netflix show, or she would have been here.
She's watching though. She's on the YouTube.
She's watching. Wherever you are in Budapest. I'd like to thank the judges, some of which are present, and the crew tonight, led by Anna. What's your last name, Anna?
No.
I can't say that. I would like to thank the writing teachers who put in the time to mentor our students throughout this process. Ken, Nick, Amy, a bunch of really wonderful adjuncts. I'd like to thank our chair, Barbara Schock, for hosting this event during the transition. We're doing a really killer reception, so stick around afterwards. There's going to be delicious food and cheese and wine. I'd also like to thank our former chair, John Tintori, who inaugurated this wonderful initiative and who has been a huge supporter of the Purple List and continues to make this wonderful opportunity happen for grad film students. And now, I would like to introduce a very special guest. For those who don't know, The Blacklist is a yearly publication featuring Hollywood's most popular and yet unproduced screenplays. It is hugely influential and groundbreaking, and our guest, Franklin Leonard, founded it. He would like to say a few words. Yeah. So please welcome Franklin Leonard!
Hi, everybody. I'm generally used to being like behind the person in front of the camera, so being on stage is really uncomfortable for me. It's I think additionally surreal because it doesn't feel like that long ago that I was in an office on Sunset, sort of desperate to find good scripts and feeling like I was very bad at my job, and that need sort of begat the original Blacklist. So obviously it's very surreal 10 years later to be standing here at NYU Film School talking about or sort of being a guest at an event that was for a list that was inspired by something that I've done, and apparently has a better hit rate than The Blacklist does. So congratulations on that. I think we've done it for 10 years. I've done it for 10 years. It was an annual list of Hollywood's most liked unproduced screenplays. The numbers are sort of staggering. 3 of the last 7 Best Pictures, 8 of the last 16 screenwriting Oscars, half of last year's Best Picture nominees were all scripts that were on the list. And I think that it reflects an unfortunate reality wherein Hollywood is under a great deal of a very specific set of economic pressures that dictate a great deal of what films get made. But I also think that it speaks to the fact that Hollywood, when presented with the question of what scripts do you love, what stories did you love, which is really all we do, does a very good job of identifying things that may be on their face not commercial, but when they're made and made well, do very well, both critically and commercially. I think the best recent example of that obviously would be The Imitation Game. No one was trying to make the gay cryptographer biopic. It made over $100 million domestically. So I think that speaks to the potential and future of great storytelling. And I think for me, as someone who sort of came to Hollywood because he was most inspired by writers and directors, and writers in particular, I really do believe that writers are the most undervalued part of the process in filmmaking. Without the writer, the director has nothing to shoot, the actors have nothing to say, the production designer has nothing to production design. And I think, unfortunately, the contributions of writers are all too often overlooked. So I'm glad to be part of a lineage that continues to celebrate that. It is a tremendous honor that there is a sort of NYU spinoff of that work. And beyond that, I really don't know what else to say except to do a little bit of advertising. The Blacklist has grown a lot from this sort of annual list. We have a website now, which I encourage everyone to check out. It's blacklist.com with no vowels. It allows writers from all over the world who have written an English language screenplay to, for a small fee, have it evaluated. If it's good, we tell the entire industry, and then we sort of wish you well. I joke about it being eHarmony for people who write movies and people who make movies, because we don't show up on your wedding day asking for 10%. And it was a joke, but it's essentially true. And beyond that, we do a lot more now to promote unproduced screenplays and hopefully help get them made. on Saturday night, actually at the New School at the Tishman Auditorium, we're going to be doing a live read of the script from the 2014 Blacklist called Big Time Adolescence. Michael Agarano, Saja Mamet, Alex Wolff, and a few other actors will be participating in that. We have a podcast of table reads of sort of the best scripts we find on the website and the annual list. If you go to your iTunes or wherever you listen to podcasts and go to Blacklist Table Reads, you'll find it. Until today, when we were uprooted by the Marvel podcast, we were the #1 podcast in TV and film. So we will resist the pressure to start doing superhero podcasts. Yeah, so check all that stuff out. It's a real honor and a pleasure to be supporting the writers that are on this year's Purple List. They'll all get to host their scripts and get it evaluated on the website for free. And I want to close with sort of one thought. As I was literally coming over here on the subway, I was looking at one of the trade articles about the scripts that are on the Purple List, and I was joking with the writers about the fact that they all sounded like the things that I would love to read and will have a difficult time getting made in Hollywood. I think in 2015, there are very few places where humanity comes together to have a shared common experience about what it means to be human. I think historically, religion was one of those places, whether it be your church or mosque or temple or synagogue. We gathered together as human beings and had literally in a room with people you didn't necessarily know, and were told stories about people and derived some perspective on life that made us see the world a little bit differently when we left the theater than we did when we went in. So I don't think it's a coincidence that, decades, centuries on, every Friday night, millions of people go into dark rooms with people they don't know, and they see stories about what it means to be human, or what it means to be a robot, or what it means to be whatever it is. And they leave the theater looking at the world a little bit differently than they did when they went in. It's crazy to think, maybe not crazy, but it's ambitious to think that art can change the world. But I think a popular medium like film has that potential, not because it's going to enact policy or end a war, but it's the aggregate consequence of all of those slightly changed minds and slightly different worldviews that you elicit when you make a movie and distribute it widely. It will seem like a weird pivot, but I promise it's not too weird. There was an interview with Tupac Shakur shortly before he died, and he was asked the question, do you think your music will change the world? And his response was that was essentially a ridiculous question, but he was quite sure, though, that his music would change the minds that change the world. And so, too, I think is the potential of any popular art form. And I think especially film, which is all-encompassing in a way that music or literature or painting or sculpture is not. It is a sacred responsibility, and one that I'm sort of proud to be a very small part of. I congratulate you all in making work that has the potential to do that, and I wish everyone here who is involved in that the opportunity to do the same. So thank you so much for having me. I wish I could stay, but I can't. John, thank you so much for this invitation. It's frankly overwhelming and very humbling.
Yeah, so, thank you so much.
Have a good night.
Let's get cracking. Our first one is going to be The Third Wife by my friend Ash Mayfair.
Thank you for the introduction, Sheen. Wow. I can't promise I'll be as entertaining as our keynote speaker, but I'll try. I just want to start by thanking the NYU community, the Purple List organizers, churches, and my teachers, my mentor, my family, who's inspired and given me this opportunity to be here and tell my story. I had a whole big speech prepared, and then John warned me that I only have 2 minutes, so it's time. Just very quickly, my story is about a young girl inspired by my great-grandmother's life. She lived in Vietnam late 19th century, early 20th century, and she was in a polygamous marriage. My protagonist, May, is a 14-year-old who becomes the third wife to a landowner, much older than her. I just want to, so that's basically the nugget of the story, but I want to share it with you too, which is good. So I found this little family treasure maybe a month or 2 ago. And I thought I wanted to share this. There's a photo of the women who inspired my gripped. She's on her way to the far left. My great grandmother, I think she's over 90 at that point. Next to her is my grandma, then my mother, who's in the audience today. My great aunt and 1 month old me. Yeah, so I was the firstborn of my generation in my family. I am very lucky to be the recipient of all these stories and experiences and love from the women who came before me. And I would like to share my story with you guys and hopefully with the world. So thank you for being here and enjoy.
Hung's chamber, night. A large mahogany bed. May sits on the luxurious draperies. Hung enters the bedroom and heads to a small table. He pours himself a cup of distilled rice wine. He swigs it and spits it into the chamber pot. He pours another.
Here. Your teeth have not been blackened. They'll be expensive to do, but the teeth full of ebony will make you even more beautiful than you are. We will wait until all your molars grow out first. How many times have you bled?
5 minutes past.
Good.
My wet nurse showed me how to count. She said a dozen nights after my last feed I should lay with my husband.
He sucks on her lower lip.
Take off your dress.
May struggles with her multi-layered wedding dress. May is completely naked and is prostrated on the bed, her mouth covered by Hung's large hand.
No. Stop, please.
Shh. It's fine.
You're hurting me. Please stop. Please.
Shh. There. There. Be good.
Hung climaxes on top of her, then collapses. He grabs the bloody sheet under his new wife to wipe himself.
This is what we have to do. So that I can give you a son.
Yes.
Will it hurt every time?
No.
Manor, front yard, the next day. Ah, Hung's first wife, hangs up the same bloody sheet on a clothesline. The children and servants cheer. May watches the proof of her virginity on display under the bright sun. Ha's bedchamber, night. May works on her embroidery. Swan and Ha polish their collections of jewels.
It's right in the middle, at the top of the opening. You have to feel for it and caress it. It's very shy, so you must be gentle at first, like this. Slow, gentle strokes. Then feel around until you find the speed you like. The height of pleasure only comes if you are patient.
How do you know when it will happen?
You will know.
Every wife is different.
Yes, I feel it when my feet start to warm up. Ha will tell you she only feels it when it hurts her palace from below a little bit. She prefers it rough, you see. Otherwise, she can't feel much. She is a bit loose.
Feet? Loose?
Laugh now till it's your turn. That's what giving birth 6 times will do to you. 5 fat, pudgy little babies, and not one of them took a breath when he came out.
I'm so sorry, mistress.
Why are you sorry? The cow is not sorry when the calves are too weak to suckle. I have a strong, healthy boy, and he will take care of me.
Yes, mistress.
Except now your little palace is as dry as old chaff. Nobody knows what to do at first. When you sleep with our husband, you must think of it as a dance. He likes to watch, you see. You do it to yourself first. Then you remember how you feel and what your body was doing. And then, when you were with him, you show him a little of what you remember. Like this.
When he's inside me, I only feel pain.
You have to pretend that you like it so that he will like it. And then maybe one day you will actually like it.
What if I never like it?
You may not. You may just get bored. But you'll be busy when the babies come anyway.
Don't listen to her. She is free from her duty because she gave her husband, our husband, his first son. We're not. You might as well learn to make it pleasurable for yourself.
If it hurts too much, just use your mouth. That works.
My mouth? My mouth? You mean?
Yes, that's right. Just switch when you get tired. That will give him a little break and it will keep him hard. Just make sure he doesn't waste his nectar in your mouth. No babies are made in the throat.
Well, I am tired of polishing. How about a game of cards?
I've never played.
I will show you.
End of scene.
Thank you. So actually, before you guys leave, thank you so much. I forgot to mention that for the purpose of the reading, obviously that was in English. The film is shot on location in Vietnam. It will be with the Vietnamese cast and Vietnamese language. This is my wonderful cast. Kathy Yan doing stage direction, Lou Liberatory, Jazz Epatos, Kelsey Stokes, and Laura Moss Farrell.
Thank you.
All right. Next up, we're going to have a reading of Salt of the Earth, written by Margarita. All right, Margarita.
Would anybody like to come and fill in these seats? There's 5 seats. Anybody want to?
Cisco, I know you want. All right. I'm going to hand it over to Margarita. It's going to take it away.
Hi, I'm Margarita.
My feature script, The Salt of the Earth, is a family drama about 2 brothers set today in a small village in rural Bavaria, in Germany. These slides are supposed to give you a glimpse into this vanishing community and the world of small farming in Bavaria while I introduce the film. When dutiful Zacharias agrees to help his somewhat manipulative and controlling older brother, Vanna, save the family farm, the farm that has then defined this family for generations. He puts his responsibilities towards his son, his wife, and to his job as a brewery worker at risk. At first, the brothers work seamlessly together at the farm, but soon Zacharias cannot juggle all of his responsibilities, and Vanna begins to resent the very help he needs from his brother. As the life that Zacharias has built for himself falls to pieces, he must make a choice. But what will happen to his brother and the farm if he leaves? And can he bring the core values of family, community, and identity into his life without the farm? I'm inspired to make this film because I'm fascinated by the complexities of sibling relationships, the love, the dependence, the rivalries, perhaps because I'm one of 6 sisters. I also have seen this world of small farming and the fabric of this community change drastically, and I want to explore how possibly losing something that defines yourself can play upon this sibling relationship. Ari Fliakos will be playing Vanna, and Stephen O'Reilly will be playing Zacharias. And okay. Thank you, Anna. I think you can record it now. Yeah, exactly. Okay, and I will be doing 3 scenes from the first act. And in the previous scene, Zacharias has been offered a promotion to a white-collar job at the brewery. Before he goes home to tell his wife, Simone, and his child, he rushes to the farm. Interior milking barn, evening.
Hey.
Startled me.
Yeah, sorry.
It's good to see you. Everything okay? Everything okay?
Yeah. You're looking at a rich man.
Huh?
I got a promotion. Berna, did you hear me? Did you hear what I said? I said I got a promotion.
Congratulations. I'm proud of you. Your mom will be proud of you too.
It's a head of sales.
Wheat prices don't look good. Guntram won't give us a fair price on the wheat.
Yeah. Okay, look, I gotta go.
Stay for dinner.
Nah, I gotta get home.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mama want to hear the news from you.
The next scene is the family has just celebrated Zacharias' promotion over Sunday lunch. Exterior farmhouse laid out.
What's wrong?
Nothing. Nothing. I shouldn't worry you with this.
Come on.
I'm gonna have to rent the land.
What? No. Hey, no, I mean, what are you talking about?
Guntram isn't giving us a fair price. I can't pay Ziggy anymore, and the farm is too big for me to handle alone. Never thought it would come to this.
I'm sorry.
I've given my whole life to this place.
I know. But what if I were...
No. No. Don't talk stupid. Your promotion and all. Think you could wing it? Part-time here?
If I did, how long would you need to get back?
No, of course. Only until we brought in the sugar harvest. And then I could I'd be able to hire a part-time hand. I wish I had built that storage when I had a chance. I just thought it would be such an expense. I mean, I didn't think Guntram could squeeze us.
I should just ask Simone first, actually.
Come on. Be a man.
And then the final scene. Exterior field day. Zacharias drives his Prius to the corner of a muddy field where he sees Werner on a tractor plowing.
Hey, I need to talk to you.
You grew up on a farm?
Hey, come on.
Shouldn't you be at work?
We can't lose the farm.
Zacharias. You realize what you're saying?
Yeah. Aren't you going to thank me? Okay. Can you take me to the edge there? I gotta get back to the brewery.
This is gonna be great.
Right, just until the sugar harvest.
All right. Next up, we have a film that takes place in Schenectady about a bank robber and that's the place beyond the times. I'm being told the place behind your eyes. Sorry, I got mixed up. All right, are we ready?
Nice one. You gotta vamp a little bit more, Gene. We need time.
All right, Vika with the place behind her eyes.
Thank you so much for that introduction. And thank you for being here and listening to us. I wanted to thank the judges and the faculty, especially Tony Gianelli, who came responsibly for the Propolis. I'm here to tell you a little bit about my movie, The Place Behind Her Eyes. It's a sci-fi set in an allegorical future world, and it's the story of Aya, who's a 15-year-old girl. That's shiny. She's a 15-year-old little girl who's about to leave everything she knows, her home, in order to go for her very first work placement. And Aya grew up in a deceleration unit, which is a city of stacked shipping containers housed in a sealed warehouse where her brethren, the decelerated, have been segregated away from the rest of the world. Now, the decelerated in this hypothetical future are considered a primitive human subspecies, and they are the descendants of those of us here today who, in the early 21st century, chose not to embrace the genetic and biotechnological upgrades that are coming our way, or may not have had access to these upgrades, and a few generations down the line, they came to be considered inferior and could not compete. And so the best possible option open to these decelerants in this society is to become jobbers, which is kind of menial laborers in that Baden households. Now, Badens are a class of upgraded, enhanced transhumans who have been optimized through these technologies. Now, in order, I'm going to keep going. It's complicated. So, in order for Aya to become a jobber, she had to have undergone neurolinguistic programming and progressive conditioning, which is designed to make her more user-friendly for her client. And so the movie starts with Aya being taken to this jobber placement, which is one of the scenes that we're going to read for you today. And she's taken by her trainer, Dr. Elizabeth Barton, who is kind of a typical representative of the Baden class, let's say, right? And she's being taken to Simeon, her master, and he is not a typical Baden at all. He lives in the middle of nowhere in the desert hinterland, and he lives completely off-grid, and he is not taking advantage of these various technological advancements of his day. As it transpires, Simeon doesn't have the agenda that they will expect, and he in fact wants to deprogram Aya and undertakes this dangerous mission. And as she begins to learn that she can undo her own conditioning, she realizes the extent of the lie that's been keeping her people enslaved, and she becomes kind of a dangerous proof that if the inferiority of the Badens is not inborn, then it must be programmed. So this is kind of an epic sci-fi concept, but it's a very small human drama that contains it, and characters. So without further ado, I will hand over to my wonderful actors.
Transport. Afternoon. Arid plains stretch to mountains on the distant horizon. The highway stretches ahead, distances impossible to gauge. The deceleration unit vehicle speeds along. In the passenger seat, Aya, 15, mousy with bony limbs, is outfitted in a frugal graying uniform. Accompanying her is Dr. Barton, 30s, her guardian and trainer, a statuesque Baden woman. Aya notices a small light appear on the horizon. They are getting close to their destination.
Is there something you want to ask? Ma'am, what's it like? Starting a new placement can be hard, but you match the client's order by 86%, which is very good for someone like you. You will find your place here.
I mean, him, the Baden.
You'll be fine. You worked very hard. Just follow your training. The client is familiar with the deco condition. Three, 5, 6, 8, 9. Is there something else?
I mean, it's just, they say that sometimes he'll want to take from me.
I'm sure you've heard all kinds of stories. I'm required to make routine visits to check on you, and I'll be watching for signs. Breaches of contract. There are rules both client and jobber must obey. Do you understand?
Exterior. Client's house, later. After meandering through desert roads for some hours, they finally arrive at the client's domicile. This is Simeon, 47, rough, unshaven, wearing an old dressing gown. A ragged dog, Archimedes, sits at his side. Dr. Barton opens the back compartment door.
It's time. Come 35689. You're a strong one.
At Dr. Barton's touch, Aya involuntarily relaxes.
This is where you belong.
Dr. Barton gets back into the transport. Aya tries to follow her, but it is as though an unseen wall holds her. Dr. Barton starts the engine, hits the gas. The headlamps pass away towards the horizon.
My name is Simeon. There's some food inside if you want.
Exterior, Simeon's house, the following day. Simeon pushes past Aya carrying a heavy bucket filled with water. A few bushes and trees near the house give way to the desert plain. Simeon walks in powerful strides. Aya, a little way behind, tries to keep up.
I'm going to show you one thing at a time so that there's no room for confusion. Water is very scarce here, even scarcer than back where you came from. We only have as much as collects in the condenser every day. It's our most precious resource.
Sir, where are we going?
There isn't a day goes by I don't ask myself the same question.
Aya joins Simeon on a ridgetop overlooking the desert valley. She is thirsty. Her head throbs. They are both sweating, dusty, and parched. Simeon crouches by a pile of small stones, sticks, and bones. With reverence, he empties all the water into the ground. Aya watches the water get absorbed by the earth.
All right, come on. Now this must be done early and late in the day to avoid the sun. I've no doubt that today's walk has let you know about that.
I don't understand, sir. What is it you're asking me to do?
Our small offering here may one day allow life. It's a simple task.
Interior, kitchen, afternoon, 5 months later. Domed ceiling streaming with light. Old appliances, a tangle of kitchenware, garden tools, papers, books. The adjoining glass house is a jungle, thick, moist air. Simeon lights a candle on a small cake and presents it to Aya.
Happy birthday. Blow it out.
How'd you know?
It's in your profile.
You don't tell us the day we landed. No one even knows for sure.
I know.
It ain't cause for celebration.
We like to congratulate ourselves on getting a year closer to death. Reflect on a year of life and eat cake.
Should I follow your custom?
That's up to you. Do you ever think about where it is you came from? Who landed you?
The candle keeps burning, wax melting into the cake.
You're right. Birthdays are overrated.
Simeon drops the cake into the wastebasket.
I'm sorry.
Simeon walks to a bookshelf, takes out a hand-bound notebook, and hands it to her.
Not because it's your birthday or anything. It's a book. See? It's for you. For keeping track of your research, all the questions, so you won't forget them and the answers when they come.
Giving it to me?
It can be difficult choosing the questions with which to start. Can I make a suggestion?
Yes.
Who is 35689?
End of scene.
All right. Next up, we have D-Day, written by Tamika Gouchard.
Hello. Okay. So it's been a long time coming on this project. So I wrote a few notes down so I pack everything in. This is my passion project. Originally drafted under Ken Friedman's guides in 2008 and adapted for the screen from a dance production that I produced while in undergrad in 2000. So, yeah. It follows three foster siblings from East New York, which is my hometown in Brooklyn. And each of them embody kind of a path out of the hood or above their circumstances, which are still pretty kind of standard in any hood you go to. You know, either you're going to excel in the street or in school or in the military service. So each of them kind of go on those paths, but they're thick as thieves. So although it was initially produced as a dance show in 2000, my years teaching in East New York profoundly impacted me. And in learning my students, I really came to see how feasible the story actually was. The initial dance show being a drug dealer who realized that one of his customers was his mother. And again, in teaching my students, it kind of solidified that this could be a reality. And my students at the time really kind of drew me to think about the overlap of kind of the crack epidemic and the information age. And the young people that are kind of coming out of that. I mean, there's some really fascinating and complex young people that are coming out of that overlap. And I feel like we're expecting them, you know, because they have the world at their fingertips to like cure cancer and save the planet and save each other, you know, but like, what are we really sacrificing for them? So what this film does, it implicitly begs that question. So before I get too soapboxy, I will say that I'm really, really grateful for this opportunity to pitch this project. You know, it's a hard pitch, right? It's like dance-driven, 3 protagonists, you know, drama. So, you know, I kind of have been slowly working my way to this feature film by doing character portraits for each of the characters. So tonight what we're going to see is a clip of one of those character portraits. And I just want to also just thank the NYU community, like I said, Ken and Carol and Bill, and, you know, Seeth and Dee and everybody who had no time to watch my cuts and read my scripts, my friends and family that I keep emailing scripts to. And, you know, I want to just highlight Sibel right here, who's taking the picture. She actually shot Jackie. Graduated from NYU in the cinematography track, of course, and because of Sibel, we actually got a grant from Digital Bolex to shoot the film next fall, their inaugural Women Cinematographers grant. So we're really, really excited for that. So the clip I'm showing wasn't shot on Digital Bolex, it was shot on Super 16, and I just want to set it up. So it's actually, it corresponds to the script pages, the feature script pages, 51 to 56, so like the end of the second act.
And it's called Jackie. She's like the female musketeer in our little trio. And she's like really cerebral. Her path is school, right? So she thinks about everything. So what we see is the first meeting with her and her mother, and the whole time she has this note. You know, she's gonna figure it out. Why is this woman here? Why is this woman here? And one of my iterations of the script, which has been many, in trying to braid the stories together more, I kind of started likening each of the characters to a character from The Wiz. So Jackie's the Tin Man. You know, she's not big on feelings. You know, she's gonna figure it out. And that's about it. Yeah, I'll just let you watch and then.
Let's take a picture. God damn it. Alright. Okay, 3 out of 5. And if I don't win, I don't win, you get to keep the wine.
I don't think so. There's only white left. No, I don't want that.
You would be a red drinker. House does not fall. She'll fall from the tree. Lord have mercy.
You're really gonna try to do that slow as Hamilton. Really?
Ronnie. Everyone calls me Ronnie.
Well, I'm not everyone, so I can't call you that. It's not one scar.
Just can't see them, baby girl. Come on! Don't be scared.
I know your next move before you do, Miss Hamilton.
Oh, do you?
I do. And what's your middle name, at least?
Jacqueline.
That won't work.
I knew I had to leave you with something. Since I knew I had to leave you.
We don't have to talk about that.
I know. You will never know how much I've appreciated your lenience with me this evening, Jackie. But some matters are urgent. Would you happen to know your blood type? My son. He's only 4 and he may die. He was born with leukemia. We've undergone an extensive search for a donor. African American marrow matches are even less. Would you be willing to take a blood test? I know that this is a lot to ask, but nothing's conclusive until we know if you're a match. Jackie. Please.
Take this. I'll be right back. You're not gonna walk out on me now, are you? Oh, your hood reflexes are still in order, but you must have lost your fucking mind. Coming in my crib, belching, speaking in bonics like that shit's gonna get your butt beat ass.
Jackie, I realize how I came at you, and I'm sorry. But this is really not about me.
That's true. But you changed the game when you decided to get me drunk and shove grandparents in my face. So you know what? No.
No.
No, I'm not taking a blood test.
Okay, I know this is my fault. I'm sorry. This is not the time to spite me.
Karma's a bitch, ain't it? What'd they say about that app?
You think you'd have wound up here as my 8th grade ass raised you? Do you?
I think I don't like needles, and this conversation is over.
You know good and well it ain't about needles, Jackie. You are a black girl from East New York at Penn. Needles ain't got shit on you.
This what you want? Take it! Take it, I don't need it.
Two more things really quickly. I swear there is dance in the feature. So Jackie's a dancer. The reason that there is no dance in the shorts produced was because, you know, the idea was we get people to really believe in the characters without the dance. So then when the dance is layered, it'll enhance everything. And also, I just want to acknowledge the actresses in the audience. I want to suspend your disbelief for a little bit. But they are both here, Kelly and Clara Joy.
All right. Next up, we've got a light comedy about the other white meat, Dead Pigs by Kathy Yu.
Set it up, Steve. Set it up. It's not a light comedy. It's not really about pork either, although there are a lot of pigs in it. So, hi, I'm Kathy. Thank you all for coming. I started thinking of this script and coming up with it mainly because I read a news article a few years ago of something that actually happened where in China, up to 16,000 dead pigs were found in the river leading towards Shanghai. I couldn't believe it myself, but there's photos, so you should definitely Google it. It's disgusting. And for me, I was a reporter, so before I went back to film school, and I am very inspired by true stories. And for a long time, I had been looking to write or tell a story about modern China, about how I saw it, about all the incredible changes that's happened in the country. I was born there, and I lived there until I was 4, and then I was back and forth, I grew up in the U.S., but I spent a lot of time back there. And the incredible change between 1980s in China, where our toilet was outside of the house and where it is now is just incredible. There's still actually still some toilets out of the house, but yeah, anyway. But obviously there's been an incredible amount of change. And I guess what I wanted to try to, when I read that particular news article, I knew I wanted to write something about these dead pigs, because for me they became a symbol. They became the symbol of the repercussions of modernization. Like, you can have all this fast-paced growth, and then you can have this, and it became for me a symbol of some of the moral and ethical questions and the corruption that comes in a society where people are told that to get rich is glorious. And that's literally quoted from Deng Xiaoping, who is like the most respected communist leader of the time. So all the sort of ironies of modern China is obvious in that statement alone, I think. And so for me, I wanted to tell this story, but more than about the mysteries of these dead pigs and how they ended up in the river and why they're there. I found 5 characters, people that were sort of inspired by people in my life, or that I felt like was almost a proxy for me, since I'm this sort of outsider perspective on China. And so this is an ensemble piece, Dead Pigs. There are 5 protagonists, which I'll take you, add 2, yeah, all right, also tough. But in all of these people, I think they come from really different walks of life. Like one of them is actually an American architect that goes to China to fulfill his dream, because a lot of people are doing that these days. And one of them, for example, is Wang, who is a pig farmer that lives in a village far outside of Shanghai. But what they have in common, I think, is being a little bit lost in the shuffle and trying to find themselves. And so the feature happens over the course of about 2 to 3 weeks, between when the first pigs get dropped in the river and when they start sort of building up until it becomes this international scandal or spectacle. What I'm about to show you is actually a clip of a short that I shot in December. I actually went back to Shanghai and I shot a short, and I focused on one of the protagonists, because trying to cram 5 into a short is impossible. I like to make guys sort of focus on one of them and try to tell his story. So the one I decided to focus on, it's called Wang, and he's a pig farmer. And he is kind of down on his luck. He decided to borrow money and buy himself a very large, very modern, very 3D plasma television. And now he owes quite a large debt to the local debtor. And yeah, we shot this in Shanghai. We shot this in a village outside of Shanghai. Most of the actors that you'll see are actually non-actors. They're just the villagers. And the dialect that you'll see for the most part, there's a little bit of Mandarin, but most of it is in Shanghainese, which is a local dialect as well. And anything else about the clip? Yeah, so yeah, Wang, what you're gonna see is the first shot of the short, and then a sequence of scenes in which basically Wang just needs to figure out how to pay back his debtors.
哎，老郭，给我来。老郭，能帮帮忙好吧？啊，这人我是，我不是，这人我不是。那个，是什么？这呢，侬放心啊，我跟你有没毛病。我来看一看啊，老王。哎呀，我能放心了，这就没毛病啊。呀，老王，这个是好几天了呀。 皮就发红了呀！红了，皮就发红了，看没？哎呀，真的没毛病的呀！我个皮弄的呀！要是没看电视，这个卖出去我要出。在这段时间查的银市场查的银没办法。我是帮忙的，这个不好意思，真的这个，好吧，你自己看来看来吧，这个。
可以。好的，那这个怎么办？走走走吧。可能那有脸了啦。
你要替他对我呀！
就为了这破电视机啊！真是。
我讲到看，搿子龙狼侪死脱了。
我搿啥？死脱了？哪能回事体？
我不晓得呀，子龙死脱妈妈了脱。我把我倒霉了啦！
哎呦，侬啊，理由总是介许多。
阿妹，你放心啊，这个钞票我一定会还拨侬的。
哎呦，搿种闲话我听得来老接气。我跟侬讲，我没存在，侬去寻小争气啊！
那个，伊啊，房子啊，车子啊，啥地方有钞票呢？
我啥地方人家许多钞票了？
我太自私了。
自私？要讲我自私？好了好了，我走了啊。
老郭啊，侬等一下。老郭，哎，这个猪肉还有嘛？好呀。我网上还有的，侬要伐？我，那么有80块。啥个？80块啊？哦，便宜了吧？100块。好啊好啊。侬先拨我100块好吗？啥个？哦，我付钞票给侬啊？搿猪肉侬还问我收钞票啊？我妈侬去跳了，你死猪了。
I just want to add that the Jen, his sister brings up quickly, like, how about Jen? And that's his son. And so what we last see is him going to Shanghai to visit his son, whom he believes has a house and a car and is doing very well, but may not be like that. You're gonna have to watch the rest of it to see.
All right, last up, this one's gonna take a little time to get set up. And I did not prepare any jokes. This one's called Backstage. It was written by Shandor Garrison. One of the founders of the Purple List.
The other way around. And can I say, I mean, I wasn't going to say anything, but the Purple List, I mean, the history of the Purple List has been a really great representation of the grad film program and the diversity of the program. And as you can see tonight, the lovely diversity of our winners. And this is the 22nd presentation of a Purple List script. And Shandor is the first white, straight, American male.
No white, straight American male.
We have arrived.
It's like the inverse of Hollywood, NYU. Exactly. I think I did the numbers today too, and it's 70% female writers on the Purple List. Not this year, all 4 years. Every year it's like that. So it's amazing. Guys, you know, you got to get writing. But it does make you think what would happen if Hollywood took the author names off the title page, you know, like we did with our judges. It's just the work that gets this one. So I'm excited to be here. Very excited. You know, as John mentioned, I had the idea with my classmate Ash Fala to do the Purple List about 5 years ago. We copied Franklin Leonard, who was up here so nicely today. Yeah, and I had always hoped that I would write something that would be good enough to get on the list. But it did occur to me that that maybe I had made a club that I couldn't get into. I'm glad to be here. Really glad to be here. I want to thank Barbara Schock and the faculty for supporting the Purple List and the writers on the Purple List. It's a big job actually, and they have to work with the writers to make these features good, and then they have to sign off on them, and then it goes to a panel of Purple List judges who tear them apart. Mm-hmm. No, it's wonderful, and I think our program, like if you go to film festivals around the world, you see no other graduate program is doing features like this program, and it's really impressive, and it's because of the faculty. So, you know, thank you. I also want to thank the judges, and I want to thank Ashley Michael, who's watching hopefully in Hungary, and the previous Purple List coordinators, Laura and Ingrid, who every year have made this stronger. But most of all, I want to thank John, and I want to thank Ash. Hey Ash, he's watching in London, and because without their leadership and commitment, this would not have happened, and wouldn't continue to happen every year. So, but enough of that. Let me talk about the script. Backstage, for me, began in my 4th year here, when Ken Friedman, my writing teacher, introduced me to Brad Davidson, who was then teaching a class at the music school. Brad was looking for a writer for a feature idea that he had based on his time working as a promoter at Columbia Records in the late 90s and early aughts. And if you remember, that was the era that everything changed in the music business. Napster happened, iTunes, and there was a payola scandal led by Elliot Spitzer. Somehow Brad was in the center of all of that. So he has a really great story. He worked his way up as the youngest, from basically entry level to be the youngest VP in the company's history. And he was VP of Top 40 Promotions, so he can tell you how Jessica Simpson happened, for example, and has great, amazing stories. You know, just the kind of, you know, access to details that as a writer you just dream about. Brad is here today. Brad, are you? There he is. He lost his job after the payola scandal. He sort of became a fall guy for Columbia, and but he's since started his own label, Think Say Records, and they're doing great things. They're putting out David Duchovny's debut album. Yeah, 12. So check that out. And so the movie that we're trying to make is like Wolf of Wall Street in the music business, right? Anything goes kind of world. As long as you sell records, everything is forgiven. So it's the story of one young man's journey into corruption and then back out again. And I think that's an archetype that many of us can relate to. And it's in a setting that I don't think anybody has seen on film yet, the side of the music business that feels pretty unique. The excerpt that we're going to read tonight is from early in the script when our protagonist Julian catches his first break and starts working as a promoter and begins to realize how little he knows about how the business operates. I want to introduce our actors tonight. You may have seen him in the lead as the lead in MTV's Skins and in Peter Newman's home movies. James. He's been a standout at NBC's The Blacklist and Lena Dunham's Girls. Amir Arison. A veteran of New York stage and screen and a founding member of the Atlantic Theater Company, Jordan Lage. Gentlemen, and I also want to shout out to Allison Zwardziak for casting this. Thank you so much, Allison. Wherever you are. And
My name is Julian Sherman. I was your bar mitzvah DJ. I was your college radio guy. And one day I'm going to run a record label. But tonight it's 1999. And I'm a rookie promoter working for MGMT Records. I'm what's called a local with the territory of upstate New York. So anywhere there's an antenna north of Poughkeepsie, I'm there. Tonight I'm in Buffalo, EB's Steakhouse, and I'm with T-Rex. He's the program director at WBUF. So we're really excited about this new Sean Mullins album.
We'll have 2 bottles of Dom Perignon.
I'm okay with the beer. Maybe just 1 bottle.
Justin.
It's Julian.
Has Lenny told you how I work?
Yeah, I mean, I know in the 70s you were the first punk radio guy. And I know that if you add a song on BUF tomorrow, 100 other PDs around the country, they'll add it too.
Let me make it simple for you. I am WBUF, and WBUF is the only station you need to care about. Whenever your company releases an album, you send 25 copies to the station and 25 copies to my house. I don't care what it is, even if it's something I'd never play on the air, I want 50 copies.
Okay, that's a lot of albums.
Yeah, it's because I sell a lot of fucking albums for you and Lenny. And every other promotions guy in the country, so I get my 50 copies.
All right, yeah, consider it done. Where do those other albums go, the ones that go to your house?
Justin, 2 things. 1, send me the fucking records. And 2, don't ask any fucking questions. Open both bottles.
Thank you.
Thank you. I like my Dom chilling in Dom.
You chisel him on the bill?
All right, so it's the weekly promotions meeting, and this is Lenny Silver, Senior VP of Promotion at MGMT Records. Lenny is the best hitman in the business. If you had a favorite song on the radio in the 80s or the 90s, there's a good chance Lenny got the radio stations to play it. And if you want to go anywhere at MGMT or in the music industry, period, you need to be on his good side.
You chisel T-Rex on the bill.
Lenny, he just dumped a whole bottle of champagne.
Yeah,
That's his whole Dom chilling and Dom thing. You expensive.
Yeah, I was just honest. I didn't even think I had the budget for wasting Doms.
What the fuck are you talking about? How much are these Doms selling for in Buffalo?
These were Betty's. They were like 50 each.
I don't care if there's 15 hookers with him and they each want a bottle. You expensive.
Wait a second. What do you think your expense budget is?
Well, Lenny said it was 15. That's what I was going with.
So 15 grand.
Yeah.
15 grand should buy all the fucking Doms in Buffalo.
No. Not 15 grand.
You mean like 15, like 1,500?
Yes.
This guy. Are you kidding me? You think your expense account is 1,500?
I thought that's what you said.
I said 15, meaning 15,000. 1,500 is my gym membership, you fucking idiot.
So what have you been doing for your PDs with 1,500 a month?
Been buying coffee.
Okay. So you see, these guys, they don't want a latte. They want to get their fucking dicks wet.
They want their beans roasted. Is anyone adding your record?
Only because they still have my number. This is not college, you fuck nut. This is the real deal. You need to spend money to make money.
Okay, now I know.
Sam, what's your expense this month?
Probably 25.
Yeah, I just put 50 on my card last month. Jethro here works in North Carolina and spends 15 grand. In fucking North Carolina!
What I want to know, does the blowjob come with the coffee? Oh, here's your coffee. And
You would know what these guys like.
That's right.
Yeah, because you used to be the upstate local.
Yeah.
And you'd be really helpful to talk to, but you're not talking to me. Nobody talks to me.
That's right. It's my bad.
Because I'm Lenny's rent boy.
Yeah. You are living in his apartment.
Oh, did I take your spot on the fucking
Just shut
sofa?
the fuck up, both of you. Nobody talks to me? What are you, in kindergarten?
At least in kindergarten, they talk to you. They teach you shit.
All right, how about I teach you? I'm going to teach you some fucking arithmetic. 1,500 doesn't pay for my laundry!
Okay, 1,500, 15,000. Who would spell that out for me? I asked you how to do this job. You said figure it out. I'm figuring it out. You want to fire me? Fire me. Go ahead. Or do your job. Or tell me what to do.
At least you got some fight in you, you pussy.
Lenny sent me to Syracuse. He said if anybody could give me on-the-job training, it would be Tommy Meyer. I met him and Ben at a strip club in the middle of the You know, I'd love to play a couple tracks for you, Tommy. Lenny said you haven't really been playing our hits recently.
Yeah, they're hits when I say they're hits.
When do you say they're hits?
Ben tells me.
Ben? Why doesn't Ben think they're hits?
Because Lenny isn't paying him to make him think they're hits.
Okay, but you're the program director at UMX. What does Ben do again?
He is my indie, my guy. You take care of me, you take care of him.
Okay, but how much does Ben charge to like something?
He sends a kid. Why am I not surprised?
All right, just tell Lenny he needs to pay his bills. You're blocking the view.
Lenny sent me here to do whatever it takes to get these singles added. All right, he said to follow your lead. He said you guys could teach me something.
Teach you something.
Yeah, I'm gonna lose this job unless you guys help me. Do you understand?
Sit the fuck down.
Teach you something. What do you think, Professor? Let me see your wallet. Where's the cash?
I haven't had time to go to the ATM.
This is the corporate card, right? I'm gonna get us some lap dances. Can you put $1,000 of the funny money on this card and our tab, and another round of drinks and a bottle for those girls over there? We can head over to Kaufman's after this and do some shopping.
Ticketmaster.
That's a good idea.
Okay, and you guys will add a couple tracks for all of that?
That's just your tuition fee.
I wanna be a rock superstar and live large, big house, 5 cars, red cars, coming up with the world, don't trust nobody, gotta look over your shoulder. Remember the days when I was expecting
Alright, that's the purple list!
Jeez!
Alright, we have one of the freshmen outside, so dig in! Who's playing this?
Shiny. That's great.
So shall we guide people to where they will get the
It's nice to meet you. Yeah, I think people. Yeah, I think we can see what people know. Thank you.
Check things too.
Okay, good.
Yeah, you want to get a great
Yeah, you take you back.
Yeah. Yeah, gotcha.
Maybe ask Steve to give a shout to his
Thanks, John.
Thank you.
I got the PowerPoint.
Yeah, no, it's good.
Hey,
Well, this move that he plays at.
Yeah, he did that. Thank you so much. Do you mean the final?
No, this spinning
Oh, yeah,
thing and pulling that is good. I got a little read, but it's going to take too long.
Did this work the whole time?
Yeah? Oh, yeah, I think so. I mean, I think so. I gotta give it.
It was lovely meeting you. It was nice meeting you also. Take care.
Get in here, Tim.
Sorry. Listen, I live in the islands now, you know. I live in St. Kitts.
Oh, and you know that my family's from St. Kitts. My grandmother. That's where we're cousins. Eden.
Eden?
Yeah, it's old, long. I mean, there's just
Mommy's flowers for you.
That's fun, huh?
That was a good evening.
Yeah.
Franklin was dynamite.
Yeah, that was great. That was so fun. Miranda, I'm not doing anything until you tell me what to do.
Hold on to this guy.
And it's still broadcasting.
Super.